Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live Show, where I, Sunita, along with my co-host Tracy, we hop on every Friday and talk about everything North Fork. The North Fork seems to be playing a game, and I think I'm going to title it, Is It Spring? Because who knows? The flowers are blooming, it looks like spring, it looks beautiful, but there's frost warning in summer dresses, but I feel like I have to put on a sweater today. But it looks gorgeous. So, question, is it spring? Good morning, Tracy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm chuckling at your "Is it spring" title.
I mean, I watched Is It Cake, so I guess. But is it though? Because it is cold today and it looks so beautiful. But
I don't
like
care. I'm still wearing short sleeves and a springy.
That's what I have. I have white pants, white shirt, and then I threw on a little lightweight sweater. But as I was putting it on, that's what made me think. I'm like, you know what the rule they have before Memorial Day, after Memorial. I don't know what the rule is, but I'm wearing linen and white all year long. So that's where I am.
The sun is beaming, and that's what makes me happy. So
exactly.
I don't care.
Exactly. Yeah, unless you have to be outside, right? Good morning, Regan. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. So what are your
morning.
thoughts? Is it spring on the North Fork or is it not spring?
Spring is cold. Oh.
It's a cold spring. Yes, yes. Oh, someone's saying they're hiking at Sunken Meadow and it's beautiful.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
A hike sounds lovely. A hike sounds
sure
lovely.
It is. I love Sunken Meadow. I used to walk there a lot back in the day when I lived in Huntington. It's a great spot.
There's a lot of beautiful hiking spots here too. We just have to make the time to, go out there and do it when the weather is nicer. Well,
yeah,
I guess it is nicer. But anyway, I see Cheryl hopping on, and there she is. Good morning, Cheryl. How are you?
Good
morning. We're so excited to have the two of you on, and you're both in two different locations today. Otherwise, you guys are always together. Or working together, I should say.
Always. It's amazing we've been friends this long.
Good. All right, let's hop into introduce yourself and talk about what you currently do.
Cheryl, go first.
Okay, I'm Cheryl Schneider, and I'm a real estate agent with the agency on Long Island. Currently, we work out of the Huntington office, but our territory is the North Fork primarily. And I live in Cutchogue and have since 2000.
Oh, that's a long time.
Long time,
yeah. It sounds like yesterday, but then I'm counting in my head 24. That's a long time.
When you said that's a long time, I'm like, no, it wasn't. That was just, yes, okay.
24 years, yeah.
24 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time. Now, Regan, you too live on the North Fork, correct?
I live on the North Fork. Actually, Cheryl and I came about the same time. And we've been friends since about the same time because I got to the North Fork and ran amok. I'm a city kid that was like, oh, I need goats, I need horses. And then I fell off my horse immediately.
Wait, you also live in a kind of a barn type of a house, right? Because it's an open, converted, was it originally a barn?
It's an old farm, what we live on. So we don't live in a barn, there are barns, but I saw a barn and I realized it needed horses. And then I realized I needed to ride them, and then I fell off.
So you literally fell off a horse. I thought you were like figuratively, I fell off the horse.
No. I smashed myself up badly enough. I could not wash my own face.
Oh my goodness.
I went to a spa. I just chose one out of the blue, and I was like, please, would somebody wash my face? I guess that's facial. I was an esthetician then, and I was heavily sedated. And we started talking, and we
and Cheryl became friends of you in spite of all of that?
Yes.
But she was a captive prisoner. I had her, sedated on a table and was hovering over her, rubbing her face. So, the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah.
So you were an esthetician in the spa. And Regan, what were you doing? Because you've done a lot of stuff on the North Fork before you jumped into real estate, correct?
have, but at that time, my kids were tiny and I was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
So I had come from the city. I've always been in the hospitality industry, but my family had a theater. I was a dancer. So now I have the dance studio and do real estate. Because a few years ago, my mom died, and she died young. And I was like, hey, girl, you need to do what you love to do.
So where's your dance studio?
In my barn.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's Tracy, it's a beautiful property. There's chickens running around. I mean, literally, it is really a serene, gorgeous barn farm property. Like, I mean, not picturesque in the way people picture a farm. There's chickens running around.
Yeah.
And you have a gorgeous, and also your audience is a lot of, I don't want to say older women, but it is older women our age that can continue, right? Tell us a little bit about your dance studio and what you teach.
So I was an old dancer. I put it away when I had kids and actually had to make a living and do that kind of thing. But now I just teach the bar part for anyone, really. I have students from, let's say, 25 to 85. She'll be 86 soon.
Wow.
And we do the bar part of the ballet class 6 days a week.
Wow.
And when I'm that, I'm selling houses with Cheryl.
I was gonna say, and when do you find time to sell houses?
Well, that's why it's amazing that the two of you work together as a unit, correct? Is that how it works? I don't know how it works because I see both of your names together in all the advertisements. So tell us a little bit about how that collaboration works.
Sure.
Well, so I came to real estate earlier than Regan, and at one point, my business picked up a lot, and I was looking for an assistant. And at that time, Regan was working, helping to manage a restaurant. But about a year later, after was it hip surgery, maybe? Yeah. She decided that really wasn't going to be something.
You didn't want to stand on your feet 17 hours a day or whatever.
I think it was the stairs or something. Yeah. So she was like, hey, do you still need an assistant? I was like, well, let's see how that works out. So anyway, we tried it, and eventually over the course of a few years, we became partners, and we've been partners ever since. So I had worked for another company in an administrative position for years. Previous to that, I was also in hospitality and managed a hotel and a few restaurants. That was my first career, but yeah, so we've been doing it for a long time. I think my 10-year anniversary with my license is next month. Well, June 3rd or something. And Regan, how long is it? 5 or 6 years for you?
5 or 6 years,
Yeah, 5 or,
Yeah, it sounds like even prior to real estate, you guys have a lot of similar backgrounds in what you've done. Probably why you guys jive so well in understanding what it takes to do a business. Because a real estate agency by yourself is a business in of itself, correct? Independent from the large corporation.
Yes, we're independent contractors. It's our business. And part of coming out of hospitality is what really keeps us on the same page. Because if you think about it, real estate is a hospitality industry, right?
Yes, very much so.
If you've spent your life thinking about how to make an event, a meal, anything a better experience for the person coming through to you, then it translates very nicely to real estate, because we really realize that we work for people. We're trying to give them the best experience possible.
It's a service industry. It really is. We're not selling a product, even though people's homes could be considered products. We're really selling our service, our ability to sell them, our ability to help buyers find what they're looking for. And that's what differentiates us, and actually our company too. I feel like that's 100% their focus is on, collaboration, so that you have an entire team and a whole entire company supporting your efforts to support your clients.
Now, you said you guys work out of the Huntington office. Does that mean you physically go there, or that's just sort of what the office you're tied to?
We do go occasionally because they have some great events for both the community and for us as agents, for bonding, for training, for education. But primarily, we're actively looking, and hopefully will soon have a North Fork office. It's just that.
So this is a relatively new venture for you two, right? With this company, because you guys did real estate previously with a different company. So you're looking to establish a physical office on the North Fork
Yeah,
potentially?
they basically said that if you come with us, we will build it, which is fantastic,
That's great.
and it's that level of support across the board. So yeah, we can't say anything. We don't have a lease signed yet, but it will be forthcoming very, very soon, and it will be on the North Fork.
That's great. So do you guys focus primarily on selling and buying homes, or do you do rentals as well? What are you seeing here on the North Fork? What do you guys work on primarily?
Primarily, we buy and sell homes, but the reality within real estate, you either have to do something all the time, never, and we do rentals because it's a service for our clients often. You know,
We've also sold farms. We've looked for vineyard buyers. There's been a few commercial pieces as well. So it's just that there's more real estate going on residentially than commercially out here in general. Obviously,
Right.
we're not a big commercial hub, but that's certainly part of our playbook, and we do have experience, especially with like farms, family farms, small farms.
Well, we've been seeing or hearing a lot that because of the real estate boom, there's a lot of people who would have potentially bought a small home no longer can afford to do that. So now there's a much bigger rental market than there was before. Are you seeing that as well?
they're both correct, but they aren't necessarily connected.
Okay.
So yes, the smaller homes have gone up significantly. Yes, it is absolutely an issue that young people cannot afford to buy homes out. We're working with a lot of different lending institutions because they're coming up with better and better products to help first-time homeowners. That has facilitated some of that. The rental market has grown because the service market has grown, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but when I was in my even 30s and working in restaurants, I wasn't buying anything.
Right.
I couldn't afford to buy anything. I was looking for some place to hang my hat.
Well, and especially after COVID, when people got a taste for being able to get away and be someplace else. I mean, you can no longer say that the North Fork is a hidden gem. I don't think it's hidden anymore.
No kidding.
I think everybody's heard about it, and everybody wants to end up here in some form or the other.
Well, and also to your point, Regan, I think a lot of people in the service industry are transient and like to do, summer and winter and things like that. So maybe they aren't necessarily looking to buy, but just a temporary.
Well, if you think about the history, when I came out here for the first time about 25 years ago, we rented a summer house. When we came to look for summer houses, I think it was about March, there were three. And
Yeah.
was at the beach. So we took it, right?
Yeah.
But that's changed so much. And there really wasn't a history of needing a rental market out here until relatively recently.
Yeah.
Now it's changed.
So Cheryl, what tips do you have, even for somebody who's ready to buy, right, and has the means and can afford it and everything's lined up? It's not that simple. The inventory is very low to non-existent, if that's still the case. So tell us a little bit about what a buyer should expect on the North Fork.
Well, I think the first thing to do is to look at your financial situation and talk to some lenders. There are some amazing programs out there especially for first-time home buyers, and By the way, you're considered a first-time home buyer if your name has not been on the title, on the deed of a home for 3 years. So
Oh.
you may have owned a home 10 years ago.
Yeah, hold the phone.
Really
What?
important.
Yeah.
Can you say that again, Cheryl? Because that is vital information.
Yeah. So yeah, you are, even if you haven't owned a home in 10 years, but you owned 3 homes before that, you would be considered a new homeowner. And you would be, depending on your financial situation, qualified for a lot of the programs that a lot of different banks offer. There are programs like that. A lot of people on the North Fork have, you know, as you know, as we know, because we're independent contractors. My husband has his own business as well, and it's difficult to, or people perceive it to be difficult to get a mortgage because it's based on your paycheck. And if you don't have a regular paycheck, like for us, we get paid commission when we make a sale, and that might be 6 days apart or 6 months apart. It's very hard to judge. But there are asset-based loans. There are East End, you know, lenders out here that, you know, we can, several lenders that make asset-based loans based on, you know, what you know, might have made over the last 5 years, you know, your track record for that. What do you own? What's that worth? And everything else. There are also what are considered like community zones that banks are willing to offer great rates for investment opportunities. And you know, we have what we call, our company provide us with like a cheat sheet for all those loans, like where to send different kinds of buyers to find that kind of information. So I think working with a very good lender and an agent that has that kind of information and access to that kind of information will really, really help people trying to, you know, to get into this market at that level, at, you know, at the beginner level, because you are competing. I mean, what happened when the North Fork got discovered, like you say, we're not a secret anymore, is that of course a lot of second homeowners that maybe have been priced out of the Hamptons or other desirable, you know, seaside communities, they all are also in the market for what would have been considered like a starter home, or not even a starter home, but, you know, I mean, let's say someone, you know, someone in the community is a teacher, and, you know, and their partner is a restaurant manager, you know, that's, you know, a very real income that they have, but they are in competition with people who are trying to get those second homes, who might have cash to get those second homes. And as we know, unfortunately, cash is king, but there are loans that can be basically financed within 10 days. So basically you're acting as cash. The banks will verify that basically this is a cash loan. We can close in, you know, in 20 or 30 days. There are a lot of products out there that make that kind of purchase much more accessible for people who don't have a big pile of money in the bank.
So the idea being, be prepared with your finances before you start looking, because those days of 60 days, 90-day closing, and we'll figure out the loan and the mortgage after you put a bid in the house are gone, at least on the North Fork.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great idea to have those conversations. And also in New York State, for those of you who are not used to it, and actually not just New York State, but downstate, like Westchester County South, including the city, and all of Long Island, we're an attorney state, or the downstate is attorneys, and you need an attorney to close on a house. Upstate and a lot of other states, it's done, you know, over the table at the brokerage. And here you also need an attorney. So that's also something to think about. But working with a good agent and a good lender, you know, or someone who can advise you about what your options really are, because all different banks offer all different programs. It's not like a one-off deal. You know?
Okay.
You can't go to one bank and expect to get the same products you can get at another bank. And so having like a cheat sheet or someone who can direct you towards those things is really, really helpful.
Yes, because I feel like there's different information. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I wanted to just shift topics a little bit, because one of my guilty pleasures is watching reality TV. And I can't let the show go by without talking about the agency and their, I'm going to butcher the name, buying Beverly Hills or selling Beverly Hills or something. And I just recently happened to binge watch the whole series, and oh my God, so fun. So tell me a little bit about your experience of working at the agency so far. Are you getting any of the fun benefits we see on the show?
You know what's fun is that the other day we got an email from Mauricio.
Oh, Tracy, do you know who that is?
I do not
He's
watch
the CEO
reality
owner.
television.
Well, I could talk reality TV all day. How cool is that?
You know, it is. And the reality of it is, these are nice people. And these are people you want on your side. And you feel like I feel like we're part of something that's moving towards on the side of good.
Well, and it feels like a family. Again, I'm just a viewer, I'm watching the TV, but it really does, even though it has grown exponentially from the time it started as a company, it does feel like a family oriented company that takes time to bring the agents together. I watched some, I don't know what it is, like not a conference, but something where all the agents came, and it wasn't very stuffy and structured. It looked like fun. It looks like a company that knows how to have fun and be together. And if you kind of, you love what you do kind of scenario.
You love what you do, and you love getting together with these people. This is the first time I have been to a holiday party, a work holiday party. I still have a messed up foot. I danced so far. We had a great time. It was like being with friends.
Tracy, you have to watch a couple of the episodes specifically, and I think I was telling Regan this at book club because we're in book club together, about when they had their party, because our party's coming up. Their branding for the agency everywhere, in every little detail, was so on point. I kept thinking, how can the NOFO lie? Oh,
yeah. Well, yeah, I said this to Cheryl over the weekend that because I go to Huntington often. I'm actually going there today. And when I was coming back to Huntington and I saw the logo the first time there, I was like, what is that? What, this looks important. What is it? I need to go see what this is. And then I was like, oh, it's a real estate agency. I didn't get that. Like, it doesn't feel real estate agency-ish, I was like, what's going on?
Their branding is on point.
Yeah.
Like I said, the way they threw the party, and it was subtle, but just everywhere. You couldn't miss it. And I was like almost taking mental notes going, okay, we need to do this at the Halliard. Yeah. We need to do that at we don't have the resources that the agency has, but it was great. It was great, to see on so many levels. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Well,
it was fun.
I'm the branding queen. I love branding. So yes, I should watch that episode.
I'll tell you which episode it is. All of them, because every episode starts with showing gorgeous houses, right? Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, do you still feel that magic when you guys walk into beautiful homes that you're about to sell, or is it now, 3 bedrooms too,
Oh,
absolutely. And it's not just obviously a beautiful home, and we all ooh and ah over that. And we have a lot more opportunities to see those all over the island because our agents are sort of everywhere, and always inclusive, always want everyone on board. I'm sure there's some of them watching us now. Hey guys.
Yeah, see a whole bunch of agents. I can tell that the agents commenting.
Yeah. Like every home I feel like we walk into, we find the beauty in, because every home tells a story, and there's real people who've lived there and crafted that, or their family did, or so I think that I just love what I do. I love houses, and I love helping people meet their goals. But the agency thing is real. I happen to go to their annual convention, which is actually here in Austin, Texas, which is where I am now on a personal friend's college thing right now. But the glamour is real. Let me tell you that. That what you see today, they were all there. Mauricio is the most down to earth, talk to anyone, look you in the eye person. And that email that Regan was referencing was about, hey guys, I know that we need to talk about some stuff, so I'm going to schedule some time, and I'll send out my schedule. We can do just a company Zoom, and you can ask me whatever questions you want, and we'll deal with it. Who does that with a company as large as ours? It's incredible.
And I also love that, his daughters are coming into the family business and trying to find their own. It's beautiful to watch. It really is beautiful to watch. And I wish them and you guys a lot of success in this growing business.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the North Fork. We usually end our show with the NOFO Live 5, and since we have 2 of you, we'll let you each give your own answers. So, Regan, we'll start with you. If you were going to take us out to lunch or dinner, where would you take us?
Well, if I was going to take you out to lunch, I would probably take you to Barrel Food House. Mm-hmm. Those are old friends of mine from the restaurant days. If I was going to take you to dinner, let's go to Greenport and walk around. Let's see if Noah's has a table. Let's see if Frisky has a table.
Sounds good.
Let's see if Sterling Sake has a table.
That sounds good. What about you, Cheryl?
There's so many choices, right? There's so many great places to eat. Loveling Kitchen for lunch, I think. I mean, it's super fun. I love the fact that there's lines, at 2:00 on a Monday afternoon. It's just like, right? But sometimes you look out and you can sit down right away. But it's just like so casual, and I love Loveling. It's just like a feel good place. There's so much to do.
Just the name alone is like, let's go.
Well, there's so much great food, right? I mean, like right there, you have so much at your fingertips. And then I think for dinner, I've recently fallen in love with Maroni's on a Tuesday with the, sushi meatballs. Sushi meatballs.
I mean, it sounds weird, but until you've done it.
Yeah.
It sounds like the weirdest thing, right? But like, how do you decide? I mean, I just had the most amazing short ribs I've ever had there, a few weeks ago. Just so good.
The chicken parm is like no other chicken parm I've ever had. It's so good.
I'll have to tell my husband he loves the parm. Yeah.
So good.
And just to throw another thing out there, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, they also have a beautiful tasting menu, right? So you do several courses. And what I love about that is, at least the time that we went, and I think it's a regular thing, you don't have to get it for the entire table. Because a lot of restaurants, when you do a tasting menu, the entire table has to either do it or not. Here, you can have sushi, somebody else can have meatballs, and the third person can have the tasting menu. And it's great because everybody gets what they want. And all of it is delicious.
One of your agents, Ricardo, the agent, just said, agency outing on the North Fork. I just want to say that Sunita and I would be happy to join you when that happens.
Oh, cool. Yes, definitely. Come on.
I mean,
hey, Debbie.
Maybe we'll end with a sunset at a beach. It sounds all good to me. You guys need to pull it together. Okay, speaking of sunrise, sunset, and all this hardworking time you guys have, do you catch either? And if so, where?
Cheryl?
Oh, okay. Well, I live down on with a direct view of Broadwater's Cove, and my favorite time of day is twilight, because the sunset that reflects from the west reflects off the water, and all the houses and trees get this glow around it. And we're actually, in contract for a house that we've been selling on the other side of the cove. And I keep trying to tell people about that. They're like, "Oh, can you take a picture of it?" I'm like, "No, you just it's that magical."
You can't,
it is.
Capture.
Yeah, it really, really is. And then my other favorite kind of like sunset time is like coming back from I live in Cutchogue, so coming back from Greenport on the main road and like over like around Pindar, where you have that big open sky, that sunset sometimes like lights up. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It feels like a postcard because you see the vines growing and then you keep looking farther and the windmill and the sun. It is
and then
beautiful.
You remember you're driving. Oops.
I strive never to see a sunrise.
Yeah, same.
Like, oh my God, did you see the beautiful sunrise this morning? I'm like, certainly not. But Goldsmith's Inlet for me.
Well, I feel that way until I see someone post the most amazing sky at sunrise, and I'm like, darn, today I should have got up and gone to see it.
I will,
because they are spectacular.
The few occasions that I have been up for it, I'm like, why don't I do this more? This is amazing. Yeah. And then I don't. So
yeah, I don't either. I just watch them on Instagram.
Yeah.
Thankfully, a lot of people from the North Fork post them, so great for me.
Yeah.
Good to have
okay. Cocktail, mocktail, beer, wine. What are we going to see you enjoying and where?
Okay, that's easy for me because I'm not a cocktail girl, really. I don't like juice in my booze. But
ooh.
I hate to say this because it's got the stupidest name ever. But at Frisky, they have a drink called the Eager Beaver. And ground up jalapenos, cucumber, cilantro, and tequila.
I don't even care what the alcohol is. I'm in. Because the jalapeno, the cucumber, the cilantro, I never tried that. That is
so good.
Okay. And I think I said this the last time I was there, which was a while ago, but they had vegan desserts. So I think I might just go for a cocktail and the vegan dessert and call it a day.
Yep, it's great to sit at the bar there. Yeah.
Maybe 2 cocktails.
Yeah, I think I'm good with half. What about you, Cheryl?
I'm pretty simple. Lucharitos, margarita. I'm all about it. And then in season, blood orange margarita, straight up at Touch Venice.
Ah,
But
I
it's
love
not
how
always there. It's like a
specific you
winter
guys are
thing.
getting with this.
Rare, but oh man, it is so good. Yeah.
That's great. So what about cooking at home and farm stands? Which farm stands are you guys generally hitting up?
All of them.
Ah,
Okay.
Regan probably has a garden next to her chickens. I don't know. I see
Yeah.
Penny on here. I mean, Penny practically, she could go to farm stands, but she has so much in her own backyard. So do you, Regan?
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of beds, but it doesn't stop me. I binge buy vegetables. Oh shoot, I just blew $50 on vegetables I don't need because they were so beautiful. My very favorite just changed hands and I can't remember what it's called now, but it was the golden earthworm.
Oh, it's
Oh yes, that's right by you, right,
yes,
Tracy?
it's right by me. It's called the now I'm losing it too. I drive past it every day.
Yeah, and it's still there.
Yeah.
So we have,
but something blossoms, I think.
We should have them on the show, Tracy. You need to walk over there and knock on the stand. Because people have been talking about it a lot recently. We need to.
I'll do it. I promise.
So we can get the correct name out there.
When spring decides to stay, I will do that.
They should have strawberries in a month.
Yes. I think they planted strawberries to that spot. Yeah, Slow Food East End is talking to them, and we may do like a pick your own strawberry. I mean, don't quote me on it, but that is currently in the works. Have a farm day where we go pick our own strawberries, and so maybe we'll get the right name then.
But
thank you guys so much.
Krupski's rocks.
Oh yeah,
a lot of stuff that's unsprayed, and it's just a good everyday farm stand with, and I'm going to take this from you, I'm sure, Cheryl, Wowax.
Yeah, everybody a lot of
Is that where you end up, Cheryl? Wowax a lot more? I guess it's so interesting because everybody ends up closer to where they are.
Well, it sort of depends what I'm buying, but my main source and I'm closest to and probably go to the most is Singly. I love them. My son worked for them for 4 years. He was the Pitchfork kid on the cover of the Suffolk Times 15 years ago, or not even that long. But anyway, yeah, and Deep Roots. Those are my real first go-tos, is Deep Roots and Sangli, but I absolutely 100% do Wowax and Krupski's too.
Yeah.
So
thank you guys both for being on the show. We usually wrap up asking if you could put into 1 or 2 sentences what you love about being a part of the North Fork community. And let's start with you, Cheryl.
I think that there's something for everyone, but there's very little pressure to be anyone other than who you are.
That's great. I love that answer. Regan?
I really feel that way. I can't think of anywhere else I'd rather live.
That's great.
I think it's the sense of community we have that, look, I grew up in a big city. I've never experienced people helping each other in times of trouble like you here. And it's spectacular.
It really does feel like an extended family in that everybody kind of knows everybody. Even if you don't know them, you know their business. Yeah. You know what's going on with them. Everybody's connected, 2 degrees of separation. So it does feel like a large family. And it's interesting because it's not one town, right? It's Southold, it's Greenport. I mean, we say North Fork as if it's one town. It isn't. But the fact that people are connected over so many different towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our kids go to school together. Our kids are still best friends. They're still best friends with the kids we went to school with. It's going after us.
Yeah,
that's great.
Our kids are very, very close, and none of them are in the same grade. They're each a few years apart, and they're very close, even now as adults. So it's great.
That's beautiful.
That's great.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us. I especially love the teamwork between the 2 of you, because I feel the same way about Tracy and I don't think, any single one of us would have been able to carry the show or enjoy it or do it as well as we do. So it works well as a partnership. And I can see that the same kind of works for you guys. So,
Definitely. Yeah.
much luck and success. And I can't wait to see like a sign somewhere with the
I
branding
know, neither can
saying
we. It's so
agency.
exciting.
Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Real quick, I will be at the White Furrow Farmhouse at a pop-up tomorrow if anybody wants to swing by and say hi. 11 to 2. I will be there showcasing some of my new handbags that I'm creating for the North Fork. So see you
And
guys.
I will be at Treber Farm at a giant community yard sale from 9 to 3. So if anyone wants to stop by after they see Sunita and see me, that's where I'll live.
Thank you both so
Good.
much.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good weekend.